Samsung will not remove the S Pen on their Galaxy S26 Ultra, as tipster shares evidence in the form of partial CAD render. The S Pen that comes with the Galaxy S25 Ultra takes up a considerable chunk of the flagship's internal capacity, which is why Samsung has preserved the 5000 mAh battery for several generations. For the Galaxy S26 Ultra that is slated to launch early next year, the company is expected to use the same capacity, but whatever rumor was doing its rounds claiming that the accessory would be missing from the device's configuration has been proven incorrect, because a tipster has shared a partial CAD render that provides sufficient evidence of Samsung keeping this addition. An image supplied by prominent tipster Ice Universe has shared an incomplete CAD drawing that reveals the opening for the Galaxy S26 Ultra's S Pen. Samsung keeping the stylus on its top-end offering for 2026 explains why there are reports stating that the device will continue to ship with a 5000 mAh battery, which will disappoint future buyers. But there is still a silver lining in all of this. The maximum wattage has increased from 45 watt to 60 watt. This upgrade will mean that the S26 Ultra's battery will take less time to fully charge, which is obviously excellent news for potential buyers next year, but Samsung should have gone the extra mile to incorporate a bigger battery, especially now that the competition has embraced silicon carbon cells. While a tiny percentage of buyers will be glad to know that Samsung will not remove the S Pen from the Galaxy S26 Ultra, what remains to be seen is whether the company continues to retain its stance on deleting some crucial capabilities from the attachment. For instance, following the Galaxy S25 Ultra debut, it was revealed that Samsung deleted Bluetooth capabilities from its features list, meaning that tasks such as remotely shooting a picture using the stylus dedicated button, along with other upgrades, were no longer allowed. There was even a petition formed, begging Samsung to restore back the missing features on the S26 Ultra, and with more than 9,000 verified signatures received, it is safe to say that users miss what Samsung removed. Let us keep our fingers crossed and hope the Korean giant backtracks from its previous choice. Next, Samsung S26 Ultra aperture revealed for all lenses. 3x gets a new sensor. The S26 Ultra seems like the company's most focused camera upgrade in years, based on reports from respected tipster Ice Universe. The major modifications target apertures and sensor tweaks across the main, 3x, and 5x modules, with the goal of increasing real-world image quality through aperture and sensor size enhancements. The main camera preserves the existing 200 megapixels ISO-cell HP2 sensor, but couples it with a larger f/1.4 aperture against f/1.7 on the S25 Ultra. That is a huge 47% jump in light intake, and should directly improve night shots and detail retention in low light. Ice Universe dubbed this the most obvious upgrade since the Galaxy S20 Ultra, and validated the f/1.4 detail in subsequent posts. The 3x optical zoom module sees the largest spec change, hopefully. Samsung is apparently switching from the previous 10 megapixels device to a 12 megapixels s5K 3LD sensor at f/2.4. Some early allegations pushed for a gigantic 1/1 765-inch figure, but Ice Universe officially refuted it, saying, obviously it can't be 1/1.765. This is because the 1/1 765-inch size belongs to the S5K 2LD, not the S5K 3LD. Nonetheless, a new sensor shows the sensor size will rise compared to the tiny 1/3.5 2-inch sensor utilized previously, maybe around 1/3 inch. That's a relatively minor improvement and is nothing compared to the sensors used on the telephotos of the Chinese flagships like Oppo Vivo and OnePlus. The 5x periscope preserves the 50 megapixel sensor but gets an aperture upgrade to f/2.9 from f/3.4. This tweak boosts light intake by 38%, which should aid with better zoomed pictures and low light performance. If these reports prove genuine, the S26 Ultra could bring some major changes, although not as meaningful as those from the Chinese flagships. The phone is slated to be revealed in January 2026, and more confirmations or revisions should surface as we approach that timeline. So, what about the Galaxy S26 Edge? In his study, Roland has also unearthed the probable camera characteristics of the Galaxy S25 Edge successor, which is slated to ship in 2026 as part of the Galaxy S26 trio, and is set to replace the Galaxy S26 Plus. The device will maintain the 200 megapixels main camera, while the ultra-wide camera will supposedly be improved from 12 megapixels to a 50 megapixel sensor. Details on the aperture are still absent, so we do not know if the camera's light sensitivity will also be upgraded, which is likely to be the case with the S26 Ultra. Next, following a leak showing off the iPhone-looking S26 Edge earlier this week, a fresh set of renders shows off the Galaxy S26 Pro and Galaxy S26 Ultra, and the design shift visible on both. SmartPrix has revealed new renders of the Galaxy S26 Pro and the Galaxy S26 Ultra, the other two members of the Galaxy S26 lineup. It's not indicated, but it looks probable these renders are based on CAD files, just as the ones we saw for S26 Edge 3 days ago. For the Pro and Ultra, design alterations aren't as drastic. The camera module looks relatively similar, but now with an enlarged island that's comparable to the one seen on Galaxy Z Fold 7. That might be a secondary effect of the other noticeable design adjustment, where both phones are now slimmer. The Galaxy S26 Ultra is supposedly 7.8mm, down from 8.2mm, while the Galaxy S26 Pro is 6.7mm, down from 7.2mm. Despite the reduced profile, nevertheless, this claim again backs up that Samsung will include built-in Qi2 magnets this year. As far as the remainder of the spec sheet, things are looking quite similar with 6.27-inch and 6.9-inch displays. However, the source does indicate that the Pro might feature an Exynos chip, while the Ultra receives Qualcomm's next Snapdragon flagship. Samsung fans could be in for some disappointment, as a recent leak purports to confirm the company's plans about the Galaxy S26 Ultra's battery. In a recent post, leaker Ice Universe suggests that the Galaxy S26 Ultra could sport the same 5000 mAh battery as the Galaxy S25 Ultra. This isn't the first time we've heard this news, as Dutch outlet Galaxy Club reported the same thing only last week. If accurate, then this would mean Samsung hasn't updated the battery size since the Galaxy S20 Ultra in 2020, the first of Samsung's Ultra-branded phones. However, while the lack of a battery upgrade is obviously frustrating, there could be some good news on the horizon. In a related post, Ice Universe adds that it is 100% confirmed that Samsung S26 Ultra will exceed the charging power of 45 watt. Unfortunately, there's no precise number mentioned, but we'd love to see Samsung competing with charging speed champs like the OnePlus 13, which delivers up to 100 watt charging. It's still early days when it comes to the S26 series, so there's a lot that not even the leakers appear to know. However, there have been some reports in recent months that suggest indications of Samsung possibly eliminating the S26 Plus from the range, instead launching the S26 Edge in its place. On top of that, it appears that Samsung could drop Google Gemini as the default AI assistant, as Samsung gets near to sealing a contract with Perplexity. This partnership would mean that all Galaxy S26 units would come with Perplexity's app pre-installed. On top of the possible new assistant, it has been hinted that the Snapdragon Elite Gen 2 won't come with a price rise. As such, the Galaxy S26 may feature the technology without boosting the retail price of the phone. However, there are hints that Samsung could be launching select versions using the Exynos 2600 CPU instead. Samsung keeping the same battery would be upsetting for sure, but we have to take reports like these with a dose of salt. We won't know anything for certain until Samsung formally debuts the device, which is anticipated to come in early 2026, assuming Samsung adheres to its normal timeline. The Galaxy S25 Edge made its debut as an expansion of the Galaxy S series, but the follow-up may take the place of another long-standing member of the flagship family. Multiple sources say that the Galaxy S26 Edge will take the place of the Galaxy S Plus model in Samsung's 2026 smartphone lineup. It's undoubtedly a move that makes sense. The Galaxy S25 Edge and Galaxy S25 Plus share many characteristics, including a 6.7-inch display. The two phones cost nearly the same too, albeit the Edge does cost $100 more than $999 plus. It's obvious that current Galaxy S Plus models have struggled to stand out in Samsung's portfolio, as the phone is effectively just a bigger screen version of the standard Galaxy S flagship. The Edge would give a few more premium features, plus that smaller design to go with a huge screen that Plus buyers prefer. Assuming the Galaxy S26 Edge turns out to be the replacement for the Galaxy S26 Plus, you'd anticipate the phone to debut alongside Samsung's other Galaxy S26 models. This would be a shift from how Samsung handled the Galaxy S25 Edge's introduction. That phone received a teaser at the January launch event for the rest of the Galaxy S25 lineup. The S25 Edge didn't have its own release until May. The last few Galaxy Unpacked presentations showcasing the latest Galaxy S models have taken place in January. We'd expect the 2026 model to follow suit, meaning we'd likely see a Galaxy S26 Edge in shops no later than early February. It's unknown what price Samsung will charge for its new Edge. However, the $1,099 starting price of the Galaxy S25 Edge looks like a decent estimate. So that's all we know for now. We'll be sure to keep you updated as soon as we have more information. Thanks for watching.